What is going on, everybody? Nico Lind here, and we're aboard the Bahama 41 again. And today I'm going to walk you through how to use the Garmin MFD / Chartplotter. This bad boy right here. This is an 8600 with the latest software, so this is going to be how to use this exact one. But all of the operating systems are pretty similar, so you can kind of adapt to if you have a 7600 or an 8600 with older software on it. There's also a lot to talk about in this video. So up on the screen right now, I'm going to post like a table of contents kind of that has, what I'm going to talk about and the time in the video I'm going to talk about it. So you can fast forward or rewind to whatever section you want to see. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get on into it. So real quick before we start, I do want to say, if you like what I'm doing here, if you like my content, if you like boating and these how-to videos, subscribing to the channel, liking the video, and commenting on the video is a giant way to let me know that you like what I'm doing and you want me to put out more of this type of content. Okay, so we're first going to start with the screen off. To turn the screen on, you have a power button in the lower right-hand corner. If you push that and hold it, the system will start up. It starts up with the Garmin screen. And it takes a little bit to boot up, a couple seconds, 10, 15, 20 seconds, whatever it is. Let it warm up, let it do its thing. You can customize this picture that comes up too. We used to have a sailfish here. I can show you how to do that in another video if you want to, but right now it just says Garmin. It's always going to give you this warning message, hit I agree. And then when it starts up, it's going to start up on the last page that was up when you turned it off. In this case, it is my charts. To get to the home menu where you can scroll between your different screens and different functions, you're going to go down here and hit the home button. And you can see on the bottom, these are all your options for different types of functions this MFD Chartplotter has. You can look at your charts, you can look at your radar, you can look at your sonar, you can look at your combos, your smart modes, and then your vessel data. So you can click between these and see what's going on. And so we're going to start here in the charts section. And here you can see that we have a couple different options. We have our navigation chart, our fishing chart, our 3D charts, our fisheye 3D charts, our radar overlay, and our relief shading. Realistically, the only one that you really need is your nav charts here. So if we click on this, you can see it's going to put our nav charts up. It's where we are on the screen. It's going to show this little boat here, and you can see on the bow that you have red and green, red on the port side, green on the starboard side, and then you have this line here too. This line is going to signal which way is heads up on your boat. And then all these tracks here, the red and the white and the black tracks, that's where the boat has been. I need to clear them out because we just have too many of them. But it is what it is. We're going to go through the functionality of this navigation screen later. First, I just want to walk through how to navigate between screens. So you're in a screen, you want to see something else, you just hit the home button here again, and then you can go and see whatever else you want. If you want to jump to your radar real quick, sit here, radar, single range, boom, radar. Okay, I want to see my bottom finder to find fish. Hit home, go to sonar, traditional, boom. It's that easy, it's not hard. And so one thing that you can do here, which is pretty cool on these displays regarding to navigating to different functions, if you hit the home and hit your combo right here, what this is different split screen options. Here we have a couple. This one shows two navigation screens, one on the left, one on the right. That way, if you want to, you can keep one zoomed out more, keep one zoomed in more. It gives you options. A popular one I use a lot is chart and sonar. I run a lot at nighttime. Oh, not chart and sonar, sorry. Chart and radar. I run a lot at nighttime, so being able to have these two things side by side is extremely helpful. Being able to see where I am on the chart and then also comparing that to what I see on the radar. I have a whole video on being able to do these things together running at nighttime. I'll link it up at the top. But this is something really cool, and then you can always add more combos here too. You see we have some custom ones here that even have 3 different ones. If I click on this one, we have 3 different screens. It shows our bottom machine, which is off right now because the boat's out of the water. our charts, and our radar. And you can add custom ones. You hit options here, add combo, select the layout you want. You know, say we want to do 6 things like this. You know, you just tap whatever you want to add. I can add a chart, a fishing chart here. I can add sonar, traditional here. I can add a radar overlay, which overlays your radar on top of your chart. Here, I can go ahead and add, you know, engine data if I want. I can add my power, all this good stuff. And so I'm going to go ahead and cancel this because I don't want it. I don't think it saved it. Good. And so the combos gives you a lot of, you know, customizability for to run the boat how you like to run the boat. Another super helpful thing that you have here is your pin screens. I don't have any pinned right now because I want to show y'all, but realistically, you're not going to use all of these screens that you have access to. You know, 3D charts you're probably never going to use. Relief shading is used when you're fishing, I guess, but radar, you're probably really only ever going to use your single range or your overlay. Sonar, you're probably only really going to use traditional. And so what you can do is you can basically set the screens you use most of the favorites. So if I go here and I tap the navigation chart and hold it, it's going to ask me, it'll tell me it's been pinned. I say okay. I can go here to radar, hold it, okay. Sonar, tap and hold, hit okay. And then if I go down here into the pin section, it's going to give me those 3 screens that I just pinned. It's a really easy way to basically set favorites for these screens that you use the most, so you don't have to sit down here clicking through menus to get to what you want to use. You can always just know that they're going to be right there in the pin section, easy to access. And a cool feature that Garmin adds when you pin these screens, you know, I pinned a navigation chart, the bottom machine sonar, and the radar. And so the system knows that those are the favorites and screens you're going to be using a lot. So when you pin them, if you look to home here, now on either side, I have a radar screen and a fish finder. So I can quickly switch between these 3 screens super easily. If I want to go to the radar, I hit that, it brings me straight to the radar. If I want to go to the bottom machine, I hit this, straight to the bottom machine. If I want to go back to the chart, I hit this, straight back to the chart. Super easy way to navigate between the screens that you're going to be using every day and that are in your favorites. So this is a function that many people don't use, but you really should use because it's super, super helpful. All right, and then moving on, we're going to talk about the overlays on the screen. You can see on this one, I have 3 overlays. I have this bottom bar. That is my media bar. I can see what song is playing, who plays it, mess with the volume, mute, fast forward, rewind. I have this overlay on the right hand side of the screen, which gives me my running data. I have speed, fuel remaining, what time it is, the water depth, the water temperature, my total economy. And then on the top, I have my autopilot bar. And if I turn on my autopilot by hitting engage here, you can see it changes, and I can turn it 1 degree to the right, 2 degrees to the right, 1 degree to the left, 2 degrees to the left. Change its function here. Oops, that does turn it off. Or I can also go here when it's on, and then I can do pattern steering where I can turn, you know, going in a circle, doing any of that kind of stuff. Where is it? Pattern steering, I can zigzag, I can put it into a Williamson turn, which is a way to get back to your original starting location. I can put it in a circle, U-turn, all that good stuff. But basically how to get to these overlays is you're gonna go, you see home right here, you're going to go down here to options on this lower bar. When you hit options, you're going to go to edit overlays right here. And then when you're here, it's going to show you a brief little rundown of what you have on the screen. Your nav chart's your main thing, your media bar is on the bottom, your autopilot's on the top, and then all of your data, engine running data is here on the right side of the screen. And so you can change what I want, you know. See here, my top bar, I have it set to autopilot, bottom to media. I can change that. I can go to my, up here I have my bottom bar set to media. If I click on that, I can make that an autopilot, a compass tape, or a media bar. If I select a compass tape, what that's going to do, if I hit close, boom, all it does is give me a giant compass on the bottom of the screen, which is kind of pointless because if you use the autopilot bar like this one, it already has a compass in it. So I don't like that, so I'm going to go back to options, overlays, bottom bar, media bar. And you can see here, your data is always going to be displayed. So if you hit on data, there's a whole lot of different options you can do. You can make it a sidebar. You can make your data show across the top of the screen. You can make it in the corners like this, where we'll put different data in each corner, and then you can customize what data is there. You can do corners where it gives you bigger, double corners where it's 2 things of data in each corner, and then double sidebar, which gives you 2 of these right here. So let's go ahead and turn that data back to what I want. Sidebar, close out of here. And so the last thing regarding these overlays is on overlays like this, your data overlays, you know, every person's not going to want to see all of this different information here. So if you want to change what you're seeing here, for instance, time of day, if I don't want to see time of day here, if I click and hold, it's going to give me options to change it to whatever I want. So say there, I want to see engine 1 RPM. I can hit engine, you know, scroll down till I find RPM, engine 1. And then now in that spot, when that motor's on, it's going to tell me what the engine RPM of that one motor is. But I like seeing the time there, so I'm going to go ahead and change it back to the time, which is, I forget which menu it is. No, it's in system. That's what it is. Time of the day. Boom. And so this is something that is on every different function, not just this chart function. I can go here to home, you know, radar, boom, and you can see that I have the same overlay set. My media on the bottom, data on the right, autopilot bar on the top. And this is something that you have to customize for each individual screen. I make them all the same because I like seeing the same thing on every screen. But you can see here, I can still go to hit edit overlay on every single screen. You know, it's the radar. If I go here to my sonar, it's got the exact same thing, data, media, and autopilot. And so you can customize what different overlays you want on different screens. I personally just like having the same one on every screen. And so the first thing I want to talk about is the charts here and how to work the chart function. And so, when you go into the charts here, you can see that there's a couple different options. Realistically, the only chart 99% of people are going to use is your nav chart. So we're going to start there because the other ones both work. They all work the exact same way. Once you're here, I mentioned earlier, your boat is here. You know, it shows your, you know, port and starboard side bow with a red on the port and green on the starboard. It has your line here to show which way, you know, your course is and which way the boat is pointed. And then to move around the map is simple. Just touch it, you know, drag around. If you want to zoom in, take your fingers and zoom in just like you would on a smartphone. Zoom out, move your fingers out. You can also use this plus and minus sign here. The plus sign zooms you in, the minus sign zooms you out. And so, you know, you can look around and see what's what. Once you're done looking around though, and you just want to get it back to where your boat is centered, if you go down here to the bottom right and hit stop panning, it automatically brings the map back to where the boat is centered. So it's super easy to use. You know, if you have an autopilot hooked up to the boat, you can go, you know, say I want to come here, boom, I tap. Up at the top here, it's going to give me a bunch of different options. You know, make it a waypoint, make it auto guidance, go to, route to, follow track, measure. If I hit measure, is this going to tell me how far away it is? Up here, it's, you know, 0.4 nautical miles away, and that's the GPS coordinates, and it's, you know, at that, if I go at 220 degrees, it'll get me right there. I don't want to do that. If I want to go to that point, I just go to the top up here and I hit go to, and then boom, it's going to shoot me in a straight line from where the boat is to that point. So if you're navigating this way, be sure that there's nothing in between before you engage autopilot. If I hit engage and the boat's in gear, the boat's going to automatically turn and start heading towards that point at the speed of whatever, you know, your throttles here are set to. If I put them in idle, the boat's going to go from here to here all the way in idle speed. But you can see there's land between us, so it's just going to go and run into the land. So before you engage, make sure you have a direct line to that point. If you go here and hit engage, boom, it's just going to, you know, do what I just said. It's going to go straight to that point. And so once you're navigating like that, if you want to stop the navigation because you're there, or you want to change your waypoint, you can go up here and just hit this little red stop sign. If you hit that, boom, navigation is done. But because your autopilot's on, it's going to ask you if you want to turn it to standby or just turn it to heading hold. If you hit OK, it's going to go into heading hold, and whatever heading the boat is going in at that time, it's going to continue on that heading. If you hit standby, the wheel is yours again, and you can drive the boat like you would if autopilot was completely off. So we're going to turn it to standby. And so let's select the spot again, and let's hit go to. And so if we do this, hit engage autopilot, it's taking us to that point. But let's say there's been a change of plans, or you're getting close and you want to enter a new, point on the map you want to go to. Instead of having to cancel it and do that again, what you can do is you can just click the new spot you want to go to, hit go to, and it's automatically going to take you to that waypoint. And because your autopilot is engaged, you don't have to hit engage again. It's automatically just going to turn your boat to go to that waypoint. So it's a very powerful tool that's going to make your life really easy when you're on long trips, so you don't have to manually keep turning autopilot on, off. You can just keep clicking your way down the map. And so I'm sure when I hit that waypoint there, you guys saw the other options up top, the route to, follow track, waypoint. That stuff's not too important right now, so I would not sweat it at all. Basically for the basic boater, all you're going to really have to know how to do is to enter a waypoint and go to that waypoint. So we're going to exit out of here. Say I want to mark this waypoint, I can click here and hit add a waypoint. Boom, it adds a waypoint that's numbered 0207. If I click up here, I can edit its name, I can edit its symbol, I can make it, whatever I want. Or I can always go here and hit navigate to, and then if I do that and hit go to, it's going to automatically, start bringing me to that waypoint. I don't want to do that right now, so I'm going to close this. I'm also going to delete this waypoint because I don't want it. 0207, delete. Okay. And so another thing, when you're going, say you're in open water and you know where you want to go, but it's 200 miles away. You're on a big tuna fishing trip and you want to go way out there, and you don't want to keep scrolling on the map to find that spot. You just go down here to waypoints, and if you have a waypoint already entered in there, you can see the waypoints that are entered in there. Say we have a bunch of Bahamian waypoints in here because this boat is a regular in the Bahamas. So let's scroll to a Bahama spot. Treasure Cay, we have a house over there. If I hit Treasure Cay, I select it and I can hit navigate to, go to, and it's automatically going to draw I'm going to hit cancel, automatically going to draw a straight line from where I am now all the way over there to Treasure. And then I can go to, and the boat's going to keep it in a straight line all the way there. Obviously, in this situation, that's not a smart idea. There's a bunch of islands in the way. I'm inland right now. But that's how you pick a waypoint and then go to a waypoint and let your autopilot do the work for you. So the next function that I'm going to talk about is radar. I'm not going to go super in depth because I already have a video on my channel that goes into all this called How to Run a Boat at Nighttime Safely. I'll link the video up top. But basically, when you click on your radar, this is your screen. Your radar's not on. And to turn the radar on, you get up here. Let me stop the navigation. You get up here and you hit transmit. That's telling you that it's transmitting is off. If you click that, it's going to start transmitting. It's going to spin up and warm itself up. Let it do that. And then boom. So once it's up and running, it's picking stuff up. But I'm back here in a canal, so it's not going to pick anything up accurately. But at this point, if you want to change the different functions, such as the gain, you can click here and manually set it, or just go auto bird, auto high, auto low. Realistically, for most everyone, I'm just going to recommend keep it in auto high. You never need anything else. The other functions I'm not going to go into too much because that's a whole video on its own. Here you have your wave clutter, your rain clutter. Again, that's for a whole nother video. I'm not going to go into now, but if you want more on the radar, go check out the video that's up at the top of the screen. So the next screen that I want to talk about is the sonar, the fish finder, the bottom machine. This one's super easy. So let's go to traditional here. You can see I have it turned off right now because the transducer's out of the water, and so it's going to get too hot and burn itself up if I have it on. But normally it's going to show your bottom contours here. It's going to show your depth in feet, your water temperature, the speed the boat's going, the power getting to the transducer, and the time of the day. And so much like the radar, you can customize, how far it's seeing and all that stuff. Right now it's in auto, where it's automatically going to read the bottom and, adjust to the depth. So the bottom's going to show up down here. But if you want to do that manually, you can click where it says auto, and then you can see that it's set for 328 feet. But if that's too deep, you can just subtract, go here, subtract by 10 foot increments. For everyone out there, I suggest just keeping it in auto. When it's here too, if you go down here and hit options, You can also see gain and frequency, much like the radar. If you hit gain, you can change everything. Again, I'm going to recommend for everyone, keep it in auto high. Auto high is a good setting for almost everyone. You never need anything else. If you can mess with everything, the frequency, the zoom, the range, blah, blah, blah. This is what lets you turn it on and off. I have it off because I'm out of water. But moral of the story is this is how you can customize everything. Much like the radar, you have a lot of customizability in that menu, but that's the basics of it. And so another cool thing about these Garmins and really any chart plotter in general is that it integrates into the entire boat system. You can see all of your engine data on these screens. You can control your radio. You know, if I go over here to vessel and I want to control the radio, you know, I can go over here to media. Our Fusion radio or JL radio is hooked up to this. So I just hit media and boom, I have full controls. I can control my bow volume, my stern volume, my subwoofer volume. I can change the source. Right now I'm connected to Bluetooth. I can pair different phones. You can see right now it's my phone. I can change, you know, fast forward, play, volume up, all that stuff. You know, you have a lot of options here too. Leave them alone. Let a professional tune your system. Do not do that yourself. But you can also go and in this same screen, you can see all of your engine data. If I hit engines, you know, I can see my speed, you know, my fuel, which is not very accurate right now because the boat's off. But, you know, your trim, how high up the bow is, your fuel flow for all four motors, my economy for all four motors, you know, fuel use, trim tabs. This is all stuff too you can customize. You know, if you just sit and hold this, it gives you all the options of what you can put in this thing. So you can really make these engine screens whatever you want and customize to how you want to run the boat. It's super, super cool. And, you know, once you have one of these screens customized, you know, this one, I can always now go into these combos and I can, you know, make a combo here where, you know, say I just add combo, let's go side by side. I can have my navigation chart here, nav chart, and then over here, I can add different gauges, you know, for fuel gauges, all this stuff. So once you have nice, you know, screens you like here, you can then make a split screen where it's going to show half this and then half a chart. It makes it super, super easy and super, super convenient. And in this vessel, you know, menu, there's a lot of other stuff you can do too. If you have the Garmin Active Captain app on your phone, you can hit this and then you can connect, you know, different, you know, your Garmin InReach, your Garmin app to the chart plotter. Not everyone needs that. You can also connect a camera up to it so that it'll show a video feed or, you know, even a direct TV so that you can watch TV on here. You really have options to do kind of whatever you want to do with this. And the last one here is smart mode. And to be honest, this is one, I don't ever use this. I don't know anyone who uses this. So I'm just going to leave it alone and really not take the time to explain it. But basically, you can make a custom screen. So if you're fishing, you can just go in here, hit smart mode, and it's going to give you all the information you want when you're fishing. If you're going to dock the boat, boom, all your docking information. I don't use them, so they're blank, but that's kind of what that is. I don't really know anyone who uses those. And so finally, if you want to get, you know, information about the tides and the weather and all that stuff, you can hit down here and hit info. If I go, I can hit tides and currents, tides, and it's going to give me the tide info for that time. You know, right now it's 5:30 p.m. I follow this line up. You can see I'm almost to high tide, and this is at Sebastian Inlet Bridge, which is the nearest tide station to me. If I want to change that, I can hit nearby stations, and it's going to give me all of the ones that are close to me that might be relevant. So, but this is the one I like, Sebastian Inlet Bridge. So I'm going to leave it. Oops. You can also, in here, you can choose different times of the day, so you can see what the tide is going to be a week from now, all that good stuff. And so when you're also here, there's a bunch of other information that realistically 90% of the people aren't going to use, so we're just not going to acknowledge that right now. Now, if you want to get into the actual settings of the system and, you know, get all the information about it, you know, you're going to want to hit option down here. And then when you hit that, a settings button is going to appear in the bottom left. Click on settings. And then this is where you can get into the actual system itself and, you know, hit system, you know, GPS. It's going to tell you what, you know, satellites you're connected to. You can, you know, if you want to use WAS or GLONASS, you can turn it on. GLONASS is like the Russian GPS. This is all beyond what any of y'all are ever going to want to do, though. I don't recommend it. But if you just want to get basic information for, you know, maintenance's sake, if you go in here into system information, Garmin devices, Here it's going to list every single Garmin device that is integrated into the Garmin network here. You can see I have the AIS, the controller, all this other good Garmin stuff that I don't even know what half of it is. These are my 2 screens, all that good stuff. And if you're also in here, you can hit software information to see if you're the latest up to date. At this time, I believe 26.2 is. There might be a small update, but for the most part, everything is up to date here. And so that's just the basics of how to use the different screens on this Garmin. Realistically, there's a lot more and a lot more in-depth things you can do with it, but for the general boater, that's really all you need to know. If you do have anything else in particular you want me to go over, please leave it in the comments, text, email me, and I'll be sure to make a video about it. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this was helpful. I will see you guys in the next video.